it's been going crazy since then because they're now at nursery, dressing themselves, talking like crazy.
And this is a wonderful stage in your life now, because there was a time when you were 38 and you were with a different partner at the time, but you were trying to go through the process of having a baby. You'd gone down the IVF route, and it was at 30 you finally got that phone. I think you were driving that said, this isn't going to happen for you.
It was a very, very sort of tough process at that time, mainly because it was the second time trying for the IVF, and then you know, when I was driving one day, and then I got the call from the hospital, and they just said to me that your eggs, you know, weren't sort of like producing enough eggs. And I mean, it was such a shock. I mean, I pulled over the side by the bus. It was in the bus lane, actually, and I shouldn't have done that, but I did. And I just started crying, and then, you know, I rang my sister and I rang my mom, because we have that sort of chat, and I said, oh, you know, I'm not going to be able to have children. And it was really like heartbreaking. You know, you felt like your world had crashed.
Because it's what you wanted so much.
Because,
you wanted to be a mum.
Because I've got a big family, and I really, really wanted children. And I thought that was you know, just a last-ditch effort. And then my friends kept on saying, go and have IVF. And I did it. It
just didn't work.
So when did the discussion between you take place about adoption?
I think it started almost at the beginning of our relationship. And Tessa told me that what she'd gone through before, and that she wanted to have children. So
well, the process, you say, was at that stage frustrating.
Very, very frustrating, and I think that's one of the reasons, having known that it probably would be. I mentioned to Den the very first time we met, and said, look, you know, I love children, I'd love this to happen, but this is what I'm looking to do. But the process was quite rigorous, but I was really glad of that process, because it taught us so much more. We had to go 6 weeks training, actually, you know, at the fostering place itself, and learn a lot more about kids. We had to sort of, you know, just train over the whole thing again, about feeding times, all that sort of thing, what would be involved.
I think most parents could benefit from having that. I'd like to have done something like that beforehand.
And about the security of having your home, and then, you know, the thing was having social workers come to visit you and all that sort of thing.
So you're very prepared for when that moment happens. And so you looked down the adoption route, and you said there you went into fostering because actually there was so much red tape around adoption that fostering seemed to be the better option, and you were prepared, but you thought that you would be getting a teenager.
No, I think Tessa wanted a girl that was around 5 or 6 years of age, and then they kept offering us teenagers that had run away, absconded, and it was always the wrong category of child that we were looking for. And so were the twins, because they offered us twins. So
we thought, fantastic.
So we thought, okay, we'll give that a try.
And they were only 4 months.
Every child needs a home, regardless of age or circumstance. But there was obviously you can't help but enter into that process with a specific thought of what would be nice if it could be perfect.
Yes.
And so, as you say, twins are not necessarily perfect, but it has turned out to be amazing. But you foster those twins. There must have been a thought in the back of your mind: what if they have to go? What if they're taken away?
That thought is always there, because, you know, when you're fostering, because you think, OK, there's a bond here, we're forming a bond, and hopefully it'll be a great bond, but then when they get taken away, what do you do? And if this had happened to us now, it would have been a total empty world, because the bond that we formed with our children now, and they are just fantastic. It's like we sort of speak the same thing when they're sleeping on our faces in the morning, they come into our room early at night, all that thing. And because we've had them from the age they were tiny tots, you know, I mean, when you saw them first, I mean, it fits on Den's arms like that, because of course they were premature when they're born. But now we've monitored and nurtured them, and, you know, it's great when they come home from nursery and they show.
But they're yours.
Yeah, we'd already gone through that panel process to become fosterers, so in some ways it was made easier to move from that stage to adoption, because we'd already done all that stuff before. And the other thing I think I need to say is that when you're going through the fostering training, you know, you're made aware that the children may have to move on, and that unfortunately does happen a lot with fostering. Lots of kids move around, they go to 10, 11, 12 different homes, so it's just you know, that's just one of the things about fostering that you just accept happens. But it was kind of different with these kids being as young as they were. it was because they were really vulnerable. They were quite ill when we got them. They were on a lot of medication.
Well, it sounds like it's a perfect match for both.
You don't have your heads in the sand regarding the difference in age, because you have come to this later in life. I mean, you're sort of in your 50s. But you say that shouldn't ever be a concern for anyone who's considering this. It's not bothered you.
I don't think it should be, because, you know, when you're sort of feeling so strong about wanting to do something, and if you know that you can sort of give the love and the care, and you have the home and what is required for this, and I think it's not just about age or finance or anything like that. It's about how you can sort of relate that love and care to children who really, really needs it. And also, you know, we found that we could do that. We felt also having our sporting background.
Yeah, you two can't do it.
That sort of helped with like getting up early mornings, ad hoc times when we were called on to help. But it's not easy.
Yeah,
but the thing is, it's not, you know, something that you take very lightly either. But in the process, especially with the medical things that we had to deal with, I mean, you know, one of them was on sort of 4 medication a day, and I used to say to Denz, oh my God, you know, got to get this right, recording and everything like that. But our age didn't matter at all. And I think if you really, whatever age you are, as long as you're sort of okay up here with it, and you know that mentally you're feeling good with it, and your partner is feeling the same, and you know that you can fulfill the criteria, what is necessary, then I think absolutely you should go ahead.
Will you send them our love? They sound absolutely gorgeous, and it's really wonderful to see you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you both again.
Hello, YouTube. For more of the same, just click here. And don't forget, you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
What did she say about the tissue as well?
Well, that was she said to me the first thing that she lost was her nasal hair, nose hair.
Yeah.
So her nose constantly ran. So she said, I always had a hanky in my hand. So we'll notice, I think it's in about a couple of weeks' time, David starts to lose his hair. I've constantly got a hanky in my hand. That's my little
acknowledgement to that.
Nod to what she told me.